I do not like when they do worked concussion stuff. I don't like when any wrestling company does it. I don't like it because you're going to do something in that match that may lead to a real concussion. I don't think it's something you should use as a work.
Less kayfabe.
MJF is going to win this thing.
More chaos.
Tony, I'm sorry that I thought that.
All elite. This is the Elite Heat Podcast. The Elite Heat Podcast. With Tim and Doug.
Welcome back, Douglas. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Let's see if we can find you some redemption. See what I did there?
And I'm really glad you did that. I'm really glad you did that. Thank you for that.
I am too. Honestly, I'm out. I'm out on that one. You have fun. Take it the rest of the way. Bye.
Okay. There was a Redemption pay-per-view tonight from Canada.
Yes, there was. From Montreal. I don't know why I said it that way. That sounded more like Dracula than anything, but all right. Whatever.
Can we have one from Transylvania, please?
I don't see why not.
Thank you.
Frankly.
That's all I needed. That's all I need.
Yeah. But anyway, so let us talk about the first ever redemption that came to us from Montreal tonight. Kind of a lot going on with this show, and also kind of not a lot going on with this show.
I felt exactly the same way about that. That is bonkers, but yes.
Yeah.
100% accurate in that bizarre statement, but it's it's true.
It is true, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more as it goes on because we've kind of been talking about it in the lead up to it anyway. But yeah, I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on the idea of redemption and specifically where it fell on the calendar. Because like I said, we've been talking about that, but we'll get more into that as we go through this, I'm sure. However, real quick, before we dive into the heat check, let's welcome a new friend to the show. And that friend is Doich Foods. They have cookie dough.
Yes.
That has like protein in it. And I'm super excited because we're teaming up with them. And I put my first order in. I got a variety pack because you can't ask me to pick between the flavors. That's not going to happen.
That's exactly what I'm doing too for that exact same reason.
Yeah, I can't pick between those. And the names of the flavors are fun. And like I've been eating cookie dough since the 80s, since like before they said, hey, don't do that.
Exactly.
But also I watch my macros, so I'm pretty excited that this is lower in sugar and higher in protein. So I'm very excited to get those in. And if you would like to try that, if that sounds like something up your alley, you need to go to doichfoods.com. Let me spell that for you. DOICHFOODS. doichfoods.com. You're going to go there, and when you check out, use code ELITEHEAT, all one word. You'll get 20% off. And again, I highly recommend the variety pack because I don't know how you pick between those flavors.
Exactly. And then you find your favorite, and then you get to, then you can either get more variety packs or just get the one or two you really, really like.
Right. Get a 4-pack, 6-pack of it. I don't care. Do it. I'm not your mom. Do what you want. But look, I accidentally bumped the mic and Scott Hall fell. All right, let me get him back here. But
you could do an all elite thing and just get like 10 flavor or 10 of one flavor, 10 of another flavor, and then pit them together to battle it out.
There you go.
That is such an AEW thing to do.
That really is. You could call it an all-star match, an all-star 8 cookie dough match or whatever.
Yes.
But anyway, Doich Foods, very excited to be working with them. DOICH, doichfoods.com. Use code ELITEHEAT. When you check out, you'll get 20% off. And your tum-tum will be happy because this is smarter snacking, which is something I'm all about.
Look, if snacking's in it, I'm in it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, legit, I'm trying to watch my macros, and I have a sweet tooth, and I'm always looking for ways to get sweet things without it wrecking my body. Because as you can tell, I treat it like a temple. Not a word. Not a word.
I was just going to say I treat mine just like a temple, but my temple is Indiana Jones's temple.
The Temple of Doom? Yeah. Well done.
That out of the way, I feel like your summation was really accurate, and it plays out during the buy-in.
Yes. Well, okay, so let's talk about the buy-in real quick. I didn't realize that they had backed it up an hour. I thought it started at 6 our time, like usual. So I pretty much missed the buy-in. I turned it on at like 5:50 and went, oh, that's just Jeff Jarrett, Mick, and Renee. All righty.
But here's what's weird, because this was a show that had a lot going on, but not a lot going on. And the buy-in is a perfect example because for the first time, we had one match during the buy-in.
Yeah, so like I went
It didn't
I
even
went and
start for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I went and looked it up because I was like, "Well, what did I miss?" And I saw literally the only thing I missed was the trios match, and I went, "Oh,
Yep.
so I didn't miss anything."
Nope.
And also, I don't know why they did that on the buy-in. I thought that was gonna be on, like, Collision or something.
Yeah,
Which
I don't understand the placement of that,
I don't either.
but
Anyway, that's gonna feed into another thing that I'm gonna debut here tonight, which is, you know how there's, like, this meeting could have been an email?
yes.
This match could have been on Dynamite. We're gonna do several of those tonight.
Love it.
We are, but I have a justification behind it. But so anyway, so let's talk about Redemption here. Let's begin with the heat check. What did you like, Doug?
Oh, okay. There's a lot there actually it's weird because like you said, there was a lot of story told and yet not a lot of story told. And that's because so much of the actual story being told really centered around the Elite. You
Mhm.
you had basically the Bucks and a big story with them and Death Spray. And then the biggest story happening was at the end with Kenny, the Bucks, and the Death Riders. You had some other beats in there with Willow, of course, and Thekla. So the storytelling, what was there, I really, really liked. And then the stories that were kind of absent, the matches were still good, it
Yep.
just made the whole thing feel weird. But if we're going for the things I really liked, I liked the Bucks versus Death Spray. I liked it,
Mhm.
the whole thing, start to finish. I thought the Fletcher Bandido match was solid, solid, solid. I gave bonus points to the sign in the crowd that says Kyle Fletcher is a fashion icon. So I really like that. The Death Riders, for some reason, I'm okay with them helping the dogs, but I still don't understand it. We can
I
get
don't
more to
get it
that
either.
later. The two story beats I really, really liked was the Maya World story beat and the Willow Nightingale story beat. I thought those were both really good matches. And I really, really liked all of that. Cajun Cope versus Pac and Claudio. That's okay. I guess I'll wait for the meh part of that. But Andrade, Mark Davis, great match, great ending, loved it. And the main event. Here's what I love about the main event. You and I both criticized the main event for not having a lot of story going in, not having a lot of heat, not having a lot of build up. What I liked about it is for the first time, I think Kevin Knight legitimately looks like a world champion contender and challenger. He looked so good. I thought this is possibly my favorite Kevin Knight performance since joining the Don Callis family. I thought he looked amazing in this. I thought his performances and the nuances he was adding between moves and just his weird smiling and like, haha, you can't get me. Loved it. And I think he looks like by the end of that match, I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? He's not going to win today. Give him a year, maybe two. He's going to be holding a bigger title, possibly the world title. And he should, because he's phenomenal.
Yep. I
So
agree with all that.
those are my real heat checks. Those are my likes there. So yeah, little rambly, but yes.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I could make an argument the show is a little rambly, so that kind of
Okay, that's
fits.
fair.
But
Because yes, it is.
yeah, here's the stuff I liked. Very similar. In fact, I think it's going to match up entirely with yours. Ladder match I thought was really good.
I
The
totally
the
forgot, but you're right.
Yeah, the ladder match I thought was really good. Bucks versus Mox and Ospreay were good, although I'm gonna nitpick this when we get to it,
That's
and
fine.
I'm gonna preface it with I realize this is a me thing, but that went from a match that like the best way I can put it is I think logically I know it was a good match, but I did not enjoy it as much as I think I should have.
I
So
understand that completely.
we'll talk about that here in a minute. Fletcher versus Bandido. At one point, after the match, I was like, it's going to be hard for somebody to take match of the night from them. But I did know Kenny Omega was on the card, so I wasn't ready to just hand it over. But
Yes.
they were tremendous.
Yes, they were.
I thought the Dogs and the Bang Bang Gang were very good.
Mhm.
Andrade and Mark Davis were excellent.
Yes.
Thekla and Willow were very good. The main event was excellent. And I will say the promo that with Renee talking to Ospreay and Moxley was good. And again, part of, like you're talking about the storytelling of it, because the Elite and the Death Riders are the two main characters of this show tonight, period.
Yep.
And you're right. There's a few other beats in here, but they're the main characters.
The Elite, Death Riders, and Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Yes. Which
There's
now
a
I'm
reason
still
I
putting
separated
Ospreay.
them.
Yeah. Right now I'm still putting them in there just in case somebody's listening to it that hasn't watched the show yet. But if you're listening to this and you haven't watched the show yet,
Sorry.
Quite sure. You know what you need to do? You need to just hit pause and go get your cookie dough and then come back. Okay. Like,
We'll wait.
yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah. So the stuff that was mid, do you have anything in that category?
The stuff that was mid, weirdly, the ladder match, even though it was really, really good, there was a real big, awkward lull when they were getting the tables out. And it just, for me, it sucked all the air out of the room, and it took a while for that to get back. Still really liked it. I'm not going to put Painmaker versus Psycho Killer in the dislike. I'm going to put it in the mid. There weren't a lot of story beats in this, and there was weirdly a lot of comedy in it for a match that's supposed to be just brutal, and I didn't understand that, and I felt that it went way too long. As far as other mids go, that's basically it. I felt like the only overarching mid I will say is I felt like a lot of these matches were given a lot of time, which is fine, but you can't give every match 30 minutes.
I agree.
And I feel like that's what they did.
Yep. I totally agree with you. Mid stuff for me, the Demand promo falls in the mid for me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it fell in the mid. Cope and Cage versus Pac and Claudio's in the mid for me. Not a bad match, but it's going to be part of the theme of the night that we're going to talk about. Mick Foley with Divine Dominion goes in the mid for me. It almost fell in the bad for me. It's weird.
I put it in the bad, dude.
I don't blame you. It's weird. It like I said, it almost fell there for me. It's friggin' weird. The bad for me, Jericho and Ciampa went in there.
Okay.
Actually, for the reasons you were talking about.
Yep.
It went in the bad for me. This one, I'm gonna be just straight honest. This breaks my heart. But Maya World and Shida were bad. That match was bad.
You know what? I will give you that, and here's why. Because I was behind, and that is one of the matches that I fast forwarded some of the things through. So I don't think I had a good picture of the whole match. When I put it in my good, I think I was just giving it the ending and the story for Maya World, but not the match quality itself. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, so I totally get that. And at one point, I actually wrote down, I'm going to put it in the mid solely because of the finish. But the more I thought about it, the more I went, this match was bad. And I'm going to be honest and put it in the bad, even though it makes me sad. I didn't mean to rhyme that, but here we are.
I love it, but I'll have to rewatch it from start to finish to probably just confirm your judgment.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I wouldn't.
You're right. That makes me sad.
It makes me sad. It really genuinely does, but I wouldn't. I would not go back and watch it. And then the last thing in my bad category kind of goes along with what you were saying there, the show length. They gave too many matches too much time. And it's exactly what you said. Not all of these need 30 minutes. It felt to me like you were stretching for the sake of trying to get to 5 hours, which is about what we clock in at, give or take.
Yes, it was.
Didn't need to be that long. And I'm going to show you when we start doing this match could have been an email, how this didn't have to be a reach for 5 hours. So
have we gone from this match should have been on Dynamite?
Yeah.
To it should have been an email now?
Yeah, I like that better.
Yes. This match should have been a storyboard.
It should have. It should have been an email. Anyway, maybe it should have been a promo. I don't know. But what if anything is on your bad list?
Like I said, the bad for me, the Divine Dominion thing, I think is what I put in the bad too, because it served, the only purpose it served was to say, hey, Brawling Birds, you haven't fought them. Well, yeah, because they haven't been a tag team in forever and whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the only real point. And then Mick doing a weird that dog thing when they said bow down.
It was weird, man.
But he was bow wowing.
Yeah.
And they let it go and let it go until he called a stop to it. And I was like,
yes.
What is happening? That was so weird and bad.
Yeah, so we'll break that down when we get to it because I have some thoughts on it too. But
that was the biggest bad for me. Other than like I said before, the overarching every match was too long.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, let's break this show down. We begin with the 6-man ladder match, which, like I said, I thought was pretty good. Now, I hear you on those beats that took some of the air out. I was like, this match actually should have ended in about 3 minutes because the Beast Mortos had so much time to climb the ladder and instead was pointing and doing all this stuff. And it makes zero sense.
Yep. There was a lot of that in that match for me for the end.
I don't know if it was a thing where the timing wasn't there because they didn't have as much time to try to work stuff out because guys were clearing up visa issues. Like there's a reason that there were unannounced people for it at first because they didn't know who they were going to have and who they weren't.
Exactly.
I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know. But it entertained me enough that I put it in the good. I think if you're going to do a ladder match and you said to me, like, pick 6 dudes that aren't, the top guys, those might be the 6 dudes I pick,
Yeah. I don't have any problem with who was in it at all. I actually really, really liked the selection, but as they're going through and announcing, they get to Speedball Mike Bailey, and I literally wrote, is the Canadian going to win?
Yeah. I will say going into it, I thought Jack Perry was going to win just because he had just re-signed and they kind of don't know what to do. He's kind of been in limbo while they were working out the contract and everything. I thought Jack might win it, but man, when I heard that pop for Speedball, I went, wow, he's going to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so I mean, the action in the match was great. Like I wrote down, holy crap, Commander. You could pick almost any moment and you're going to be okay with that statement. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
good match.
Yeah, I thought the ladder bridge spots, both of them were amazing.
I agree.
And the Speedball double knees at the end, loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about it is the story beats coming out of it is clearly this is going to set Speedball up and try and rekindle the feud with him and Kevin Knight.
I think so too.
Is my guess because he's going to go after the Don Callis family a title. And he's probably going to win it, in my humble opinion. And then you're going to see those two beef again.
Yep. I think you're probably right about that. I hope you're right about that because I think we left a lot of meat on that bone.
Yes, we did.
But we shall see. Then we get the first of this match could have been an email for me because it's the Young Bucks and Moxley and Ospreay. Now,
interesting.
Yep. Here's my justification for why. Remember, the original premise is this should have been on Dynamite. Here is this is going to encompass a lot of the pretty much everything of the matches that I went. This didn't need to be on the card tonight.
Fair enough.
First thing that made me put it there is there's not really story behind this headed into it. There's not a lot of heat behind it. Like the Bucks have kind of been on the fringe of it, right?
Yep.
And you've got the Mox Ospreay team that they're sort of doing some with, but sort of not doing anything with, right? And so not a ton of heat going into this one, right? Not a ton of storyline going into it. So that's my first issue with it. And again, on a pay-per-view where you had a bunch of matches that were too long anyway, and where it felt to me like you're stretching to get to 5 hours, and I don't need it to be 5 hours.
No, I do not.
This would have been a great Dynamite main event.
Yeah, it
would have been great. It didn't need to be the second match on this card. So again, this is kind of the theme. So here were all my thoughts on it, and I'm curious to see what you think about it. So first off, I was thinking we're teasing an Ospreay heel turn more and more.
Yep.
As I thought about it leading into the show, I was like, I think they might turn him heel, which was kind of interesting because I'm not sure you get him over as a heel in London, but you got time between now and then, and you got stories to tell. So I was really thinking he's turning heel on this. Now, I will say this. I went to the bathroom, so I missed whatever happened that set up the Nick has a concussion thing.
Okay, yeah, that was just him and Will Ospreay. They were both coming at each other, and they bonked heads,
Mhm.
and that's what started that.
Okay.
For me, that's the first big story beat in this match, and I feel like there were a ton of story seeds in this match. But
Mhm.
continue.
No, I agree with you that there are a bunch of story seeds in it, but again, you could have planted them on Wednesday just as easily as on a Sunday, you know?
That's true. Yep.
Here's where I'm gonna nitpick this match, and like I told you in the heat check, this is what kept me from really enjoying the match. I do not like when they do worked concussion stuff. I don't like when any wrestling company does it. I don't like it because we know so many wrestlers have had their brains legit scrambled. I don't like it because you're going to do something in that match that may lead to a real concussion. Okay, that's a massive risk that they take on when they sign up to be a professional wrestler. I don't like it cuz I've had concussions and I know how it feels, okay? So I don't like when they work that angle. It bugs me, it makes me feel weird. I don't like it. Okay, especially when you think about all the different wrestlers who have either died or lost their career over traumatic brain injuries. Like it's not I don't think it's something you should use as a work. Okay?
No, considering Adam Cole is on the bench right now because of it.
And is probably never going to wrestle again because of it. You know, I mean, Bryan Danielson is employed by your company and had to retire because they told him your brain is basically mush, you know. I mean, so I don't like that. The other thing that held me back that's more of a kayfabe thing, I guess, or more of a psychology thing is I'm sorry, but if somebody is legitimately attempting to murder my brother, because if he's supposed to be that concussed, right? This is now quite literally life or death. If somebody's trying to murder him, I don't give a damn about if I'm going to lose the match via DQ or not. I'm getting a chair and I'm swinging for the fences. You're not coming within 5 feet of him without getting smacked in the face by a folding chair.
Or even better, I'm grabbing my brother and I'm going to the back.
Yeah, that too. I mean, like, if the doctor's not going to step in, if the referee's not going to do what a referee is supposed to do in that situation, and it wasn't that long ago that we saw a referee in TNA stop a main event because one of the people was concussed and said, no, we can't go on. Like, we know how this is supposed to work, which is why you can't work it as an angle. We know how this is supposed to go, and we know how serious this is. So I'm sorry, but if my brother, if my flesh and blood is literally life and death situation, you're not getting near him until somebody stops the damn match.
Yep. And to double down on what you just said, how long ago was it when we had referee stoppage for Will because of his neck?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, a couple months.
And it was every time he hit the ring, there was a doctor ready. And yet here we have Nick on the outside wandering around like me on a Monday night at 1:30 looking for some kind of snack in the kitchen because I haven't got my Doich yet.
Mm-hmm.
It logically it doesn't flow.
No. And Matt doing the whole like, are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay? No, I'm not letting you in the match. I'm not tagging you in. Yep. Like if somebody's got to be the adult here, and I know I'm in the ring with an attempted murderer and Jon Moxley, because don't forget, he's attempted to murder multiple people.
Yes, he has.
I'm sorry, like I'm getting a weapon and you're not coming anywhere near him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. And so that really took me out of the match. And so when I say logically, I can look at it and say this is a good match. I mean that. But I also know that the way they told this particular story of this particular match took me out of it. And that sucks.
Yep.
That bums me out.
Yep.
Otherwise, it was fine.
I have nothing. I mean, it's interesting because, I have a whole bunch of notes about story seeds and what's going on and yada, yada. Nick gets his bell rung and it's lingering. And notice at no point, which is I find really telling now that we're looking back on it, not once did any announcer say he should be checked for concussion. Like the word concussion never left their mouths, and I'm sure it was intentional. But you have Will checking on Nick. That's a little seed for him and Mox. Mox pile drives Nick on the outside, continuing that story. Will hits Mox accidentally. That continues that story. Will wants the ref to make Nick tag out. And again, and I wasn't connecting the dots like you did, but it makes so much sense. The ref should have stopped the match, period.
Yeah.
Because how many times do we hear Taz or anyone else say the ref is there for the well-being of the wrestler?
They said it in this match. They said the referee's got to make a decision. And Taz said they're there for the well-being of the wrestler. They said it, or I don't think it was Taz, because I don't think he was out yet at this point.
Excalibur, yeah.
I think it was Excalibur, yeah. But so they said it in this match. And so at best, you once again made the referee and the ringside doctor look bad at their jobs, right? Like you made them look straight up negligent. At worst, you're taking us out of the story, right? By doing that. And so I think you could have done this match on a Wednesday night and saved me 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was. B, you could have worked this exact same angle, but it could have been his knee. It could have been his shoulder. It could have been an ankle. It could have been any non-critical injury.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Any other body part.
And you still get it across of Nick is hurt and Mox is going for the kill and Ospreay's got to make a decision of who he wants to be. And you could have done all that without it being brain trauma, which is not fucking funny in the world of professional wrestling.
You know what? None of the fact that it was brain trauma, it didn't enter into my head because I think the reason I didn't make that leap was Nick clearly was just pretending, like clearly.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't making, but I should have. And after going over this, you're right. It's no longer on my like list. And yes, there's a lot of story seeds from it, which made me like it a lot. But the fact that they were going to use an injury like that, a kayfabed injury like that,
yeah,
it's as egregious as when the WWE used Hawk's alcoholism or Scott Hall's alcoholism was brought into a storyline. That's egregious and should never happen because it's too close to reality and all you're doing is exploiting it. And this isn't something to fuck around with.
Mm-hmm.
And you're 100% right. No, they should have done almost anything else but that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you can get it across with any other injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I think an ankle even makes more sense for them because of the style that the Bucks wrestle, but specifically how Nick wrestles.
Yeah.
The way he bounces around and all that.
With Will on the other side, have it be a neck injury.
Yeah. I mean, even that I'd be a little hinky about, but I'm less hinky about it than a concussion, right? And the other part of it too is, and maybe this is why it rang with me differently, because I missed the setup of it, because I didn't see, the setup.
The setup wasn't worth the payoff, to be frank, because it was one of those things where they do something and it's like, oh, they hit heads, and normally when you get people hitting their heads, it's like, oh, they wobble around for a moment and then they come back and everything's fine, but they let this linger.
Yeah.
The only reason I would say they could use the neck injury is because Will knows how that goes. And so at least with that kind of severe injury, you have it dovetailing into a story we already know.
Mm.
You're right. This concussion thing is bullshit. And now, you know what? I've talked myself into, I don't like this match.
Well, I'm not going to say, all right, fair enough. But, like when I sat down, I came back to the couch and I sit down and Nick's doing the 1,000-yard stare and they're going, I don't know if he's okay. My first thought was, oh crap, what did I miss? Like, and I'm thinking, oh, he's legit hurt. And then he starts hitting offense. I'm like, okay, he's fine. But like, I don't know, man. I don't like concussion angles. I don't like that they did it. They could have done this differently. And again, this match could have been an email.
I'm with you on that one now. Yep. Take it off the pay-per-view and we would have been okay.
Yeah. Again, great main event on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And
if you leave the concussion out of it.
Yeah.
Then it's a main event.
Yeah. And I also kind of have to wonder if they were trying to do something like that, if like TNT would have gone, or TBS would have gone, make it a different body part.
They should have.
So, but pay-per-view, nobody's doing that. So I get it that this is going to play into the rest of the show. I get all that. I have ideas on how they could have booked this and still made it happen on a Wednesday night, but we'll deal with that later. So from there, Fletcher and Bandido fought for the international title, which I think you and I have established we both thought was really good.
Oh my God, so good.
It was really, really good. I really don't have anything to add to that other than the only problem I have with the match is a problem that I have with a couple matches on this card tonight, which again falls into I don't know that I would have put Redemption in this spot on the calendar. I never really believed Bandido was going to win.
Oh, no. Not really.
I mean, especially with Speedball winning the contract for the international title earlier in the night, you could pretty clearly see where we're going with it. I just never thought he was going to win. That said, it's a hell of a match.
It is a hell of a match. And one of the things that I found weird was Excalibur points out early on that Fletcher's wearing different boots. And then they go on to talk about that for what I felt was too long to not have it be anything. So unless they're, trying to sell us on, pay attention, this could be a thing to get us. It was just weird to me because it and I know I'm nitpicking that, but whatever. The biggest story beat that came out of this is that Kyle proved he can do it without the DCF. And again, that could have been a Dynamite.
It could have. I don't have a problem with them putting it on the pay-per-view, even though there wasn't a ton of setup on this. I don't mind them putting it on the pay-per-view.
No.
And you're going to, again, this is kind of, again, of the several themes that come out of the show. Match A has something to do with match B down here on the card, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of that happening. I don't mind them doing it on the pay-per-view. It was a really good match. A little bit more story going into it would have justified it a little more on the card for me, but I don't have an issue with it. But again, when you have the ladder match first and then this, and the guy who's got beef with the Don Callis family wins, and there's a Don Callis family member in it, like I can connect those dots,
kind of see where that one's going.
Yeah, so it takes some of that drama out of it. So I might have stacked it differently. I might have taken the international championship match and had it be first on the card.
Yeah, that probably would have made more sense logically.
And move that ladder match down because now less obvious on the outcome of the title match,
Here's the other thing that took a little bit away from this match for me, and it was right near the beginning, and I just wrote down, wow, Fletcher absolutely did not kick out of that first pinfall attempt by Bandido. And that wasn't the only time it happened, to the point where the announcers called out not one, but two different pinfall attempts that were so close that they even went, oh, I don't know. And even on the replay, the announcers are selling it as, someone messed up.
Yeah.
But that first one was so egregious, in my humble opinion. And I'm like, why do we continue to have, you don't need to cut it that close.
You don't.
Period.
There are a lot of things in professional wrestling today that are a trope, that are cliche at this point. The kick out at 2.999 is one of those, and it keeps creating these situations. Not everything has to be the false finish. Like, I miss the days where they would kick out at 1. I miss the days where they'd kick out before the ref even started to count, because then the false finish brought that much more drama. Like, oh crap, we got to 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you remember? I know you remember that. You remember those days? Because I do.
I absolutely do. And to your point, the more you have these 2.9 pinfalls, the less impactful they become every single time, and you're using them a lot. Now, in mild defense of this, I do understand having that first pinfall be close, because it helps tell the story that, holy crap, maybe he can't win without the Don Callis family so quick, and he needs to take this seriously. So I will forgive the attempt at a false finish early, but man, Kyle, or whoever's responsible, kick out before 3 and don't make the ref look bad, and you did.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, like, same as I do, they used to build the match that way, right? So they would kick out real fast, and then they start slowing down, and then they slow down more, and then they slow down more because you're tired. You've spent all this energy. You've had the crap beaten out of you. Like, it makes sense. It just makes complete sense to do that. Even in that situation where part of the story is, can Kyle Fletcher win without the Don Callis family? You can start getting those false finishes later in the match and still tell that story, because the deeper, as he goes into deeper water, as Bandido drags him deeper in, like, you sure you can do this on your own, bud? And that's what the announcers should be doing, right? That's what commentary should be talking about. I don't know if he can do it on his own. Like, you can still tell it without putting the referee in that position, and they do it way too much.
Yep,
and it's not just AEW, it's everybody. No. You got to. And the other thing, too, I've talked about this before. We live in the era of HD. I can see you. We live in the era of 4K. I can see you staring at the referee. I know you're going to kick out. Yeah. I know you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's lost its pop. Like, let it go.
Yes. And like I said, this one, I get the close one at first, but to make that impactful, the rest up until near the end need to be kicking out at 1, kicking out at 1.5. You can't just have them all after that fall under that category. Because again, now it takes away that story beat and that point of being made, and you've diluted it, and now we're just waiting for someone to win.
Well, we're waiting for the finish, and we know the finish when we see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the false finish works when you put together a sequence that I see and I go, oh, we're going home. And then you kick out and I go, oh, now you got me. And by the way, credit where it's due, they're very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
There were several times on this show where there was a sequence that I thought we're going home, and no, we were not. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's when the false finish works. But when every pinfall attempt is 2.5 or later, it's like, I know that the first pinfall is not going to be you know what I mean? Like, I know the first attempt is not going to be the pinfall. Go ahead and kick out at 1. It's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really wish we had the cookie dough right now, because I'm all fired up, but all right. That would settle me. But
exactly. Well, let's
hopefully I get it this week. Yeah.
In spite of all that, that was still a really, really, really
good match. A very good
match of the night.
Yep. It was a strong contender for me. Even after the show was over, I thought about still giving it match of the night. I did not, but I thought about it.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it got kinky because we got chains out.
Hey.
For the dogs and the Bang Bang Gang.
I mean, you got Bang Bang Gang and chains.
I've seen that movie. But anyway, I'll be honest. I don't know if you listened on Wednesday. The chain thing confused me at first. I was like, I don't understand how it factors in. And I was like, are they going to chain all 4 of them together? I don't understand it. The answer was no. They chained 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
The chain did not factor in as much as I thought it would, especially when commentary setting it up going, it's about to get bloody. And I think this is like the one match where nobody bled.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I mean, I think everybody else either bladed or got busted open the hard way. And I think this is the one time it didn't happen, which is really funny to me. That said, I did enjoy this match. These guys are really good together.
Yeah, they are.
Juice, I thought, was super entertaining in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that I have to ask you, how do you feel about Jay White's pajama pants and cowboy boots?
Look, Jay White usually can do no wrong. I thought that, cowboy boots, I understand because it's a chain match. Okay?
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
The pajama pant combo, what? But that being said, it is still better than Juice's old puffy shorts. So I will take Jay White's pajama pants over those weird brown fuzzy puffy shorts that Juice was wearing until Jay got back. So yeah, but yeah, weird getup, but okay.
Yep. I just felt I should ask.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. This, I think, was the first or second time that I noted they got the camera angle wrong. When I believe Juice was the one chained to Clark Connors, if I recall correctly. When Juice pulls him off I believe he was up on the ring post. He pulls him off and he hits the steps. We didn't see it. We heard it.
Oh, right.
But we didn't see it. I would have liked a camera angle of that. That felt like a big spot, and we didn't see it.
As you were telling me that, I'm like, wait,
Because you didn't see it. You
like,
never saw it.
About?
You just all of a sudden, because they're on the hard camera, and it's the shot that we're all used to where they're pulled back more, right? So they're on the hard cam shooting this way. But your eyes then naturally go to what's happening in the middle of the ring. And that's Jay White and David Finlay doing whatever they were doing. I imagine if I go back and look, you'll see Connors go flying. But what happens is because I'm looking at these two guys, all of a sudden I hear thwack, and I go, what was that? And luckily, commentary said what it was, but probably should have gotten an angle of that. That's a bummer that they didn't get it.
Yep, probably.
What did you think about the Death Riders getting involved post-match?
Again,
or maybe it wasn't post-match, but just getting involved in general.
No, it was afterwards, and I wrote down Death Riders attack Juice and Jay White. Gun Club clears them out. Story C, Death Riders continue to help the dogs, but that continues to be unclear. I don't understand it.
I don't either.
I know they have been talking about how they kind of work together on certain things. I don't know if they're doing after school projects together. I don't know if the dogs are doing push-ups with
it might be
Death Riders outside. I don't know what's happening.
Probably that, because if you do push-ups with them, then you're besties for life, I guess. I don't know.
But it still doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
So I agree with you. The only extremely tenuous connection here is Gabe Kidd, right? Because
who's not even here now.
Who's not even there. Yeah. Because he was running around with the Death Riders kinda, but wasn't really in the group. It was just the mercenary, and then he's in the dogs, and then all of a sudden they're no, Gabe Kidd is a Death Rider, but we have yet to see him with the group, like officially part of the group. So it's a weak ass connection at best.
Yes, he is in the Death Riders version of New World Order Japan.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. That is exactly, yes, nailed it. Good job.
Because that's the only time he's been referred to as a member of the Death Rider.
Yeah. So I didn't love it. I didn't get it. It's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I noted here, again, I had to ask, are the Death Riders heels? Which would be made clear later, but at that point was still not clear. So, anywho.
I did make a comment earlier during the Bucks Death Spray match. The thing, and again, I find this super weird. I said, weirdly, Tony says Mox does the right thing by attacking Nick. And so you've got, it's so weird to hear Tony say weird positive things about Moxley.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to feel about them?
Yeah. And it had, to this point in the night, it had not been cleared up. So.
Nope.
Then Renee with Ospreay and Mox. And once again, this was another one of those moments where I went, there's foreshadowing here. And my thought was, we're either getting the Ospreay Moxley split, or I'm guessing, I'm just reading word for word, or I'm guessing Mox gets involved and tries to beat up Omega tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit for that one.
You should. You should. That was clearly what this whole interview was meant to do, was to set up the drama at the end with this throuple. And I kind of was left with the same feeling that Will is either going to go full on heel, and
which is what I thought.
Finally pull the trigger on Kenny, or we were going to see the implosion of Death Spray, and either Ospreay was going to wail on Moxley, or Moxley was going to wail on Ospreay.
Yeah. At this point, I was
my two choices.
At this point, I was still leaning towards Ospreay's going to go heel.
Yeah.
And with the way the Death Riders had just acted and would act, I was thinking it's a Bullet Club thing, right? Like he's going to turn on the leader and become the new leader, right? It's they're doing the Bullet Club. So at that point, this is what I'm thinking. We would see it play out. Okay.
But again, kudos to them for the storytelling because it has us guessing a lot.
Yeah. This story is very good.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's very good. There's some others that, but this one was very good. And from that, we go to very bad.
Yeah, this one, apparently, luckily, I didn't get to see 90% of it. I just kind of went click, click, click. Oh, that's cool. Click, click, click.
Yeah.
That's neat. Click, click, click. Oh, she won.
Dude, it makes me sad. It legitimately makes me sad. So Maya World and Shida for the TBS title. I will give them this. The ending surprised me. I did not think they were going to switch the belt to Maya World. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm very glad that they did, but the build up to it. Well, I mean, so this was another one that I had marked as could have been an email, right? This didn't have to be on the pay-per-view. And again, it goes too long. And so you would have saved us, by my count, I think I've already saved us about an hour with the matches that could have been an email or could have been on Dynamite. It makes me sad that this wasn't good. And I have to lay the blame for this actually primarily on Shida.
Okay.
I don't think that since she came back, they haven't fleshed out the character. We know she's a heel, but I'm not really sure why. And I'm not really sure that she is. She's just kind of cocky and weird. I didn't think that Shida was great in this tonight. Like, I didn't think she was very good. I didn't think she looked very good. She needed to help Maya World along, and I don't think that she did it. Because I don't think Maya World is bad, but like at one point in the match, I was sitting there thinking, I'm glad that they put Maya World in this spot because in my mind, the parallel is Kevin Knight. I'm going, this is a good spot for you. It gives you a taste of the spotlight on the pay-per-view. You're going to learn some stuff, and in a year or two, you're going to be in this, right? Like you're going to legitimately be a challenger, but you aren't right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Okay? So I'll give them credit on the finish. You got me. I didn't think you were going to put the belt on her. I'm glad that you did. I legitimately am. I hope we do something cool with Maya World here. But she's got to be in the ring with somebody that can make her look like a star. And Shida did not do that tonight.
That's fair. Yeah.
She just didn't do it. And, this is another one. There's really no story headed into it. There's really no heat headed into it. And then they put on a match that is, and part of it is the bar that AEW as a whole sets.
True. Absolutely. They put it up high.
But you put this, and this isn't their best pay-per-view.
No.
Which is not to say it's a bad pay-per-view, but this wasn't their best by any stretch. But again, that bar is high, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And when you're out here preaching this is where the best wrestle and you're on a pay-per-view, you got to bring your A game. And I just don't think they did tonight. And it makes me sad. It really makes me sad. It went too long.
Their A game in. Oh, do you mean just these two or the entirety of the show?
Well, I think both are true. Specifically this match. They did. They didn't bring their best. Shida didn't bring her best, and this is the same woman that you got to remember kind of carried the women's division in 2020.
Yeah,
she and Britt Baker.
Yep.
Yeah, really carried the women's division, and I don't know what it's been since she came back. Something's not right. The timing's not there. She hasn't really looked good since she came back from what I've seen.
That's fair. That's fair. I really liked the story of Maya getting the title.
I agree.
Because I think it was A, it was a surprise. B, of course it's a feel-good story. But that's also part of my concern is you put the title on Maya. It's this great feel-good moment.
Where do you go now?
I just don't feel she's ready to hold this belt. You have no one really set up. The title contention is murky at best in any of the women's title belts. This one in particular, because there wasn't much, like you said, there wasn't much buildup going into this. And don't get me wrong, I'm super happy Maya has the belt. I am too. Again, I think it's a great story. But to me, it's like, okay, is that the end of this story? Do we have more for this? What are we going to do? And I have this bad sinking feeling Maya World, when she gets she might win a title defense. I don't think she's holding that title very long, and then she's going to be gone.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
agree with you. And that's part of what makes me sad about the whole thing. The finish was very good. I mean,
yeah.
I'm thrilled for Maya World. I get why they did it. I'm not trying to take anything away from her here. And I
No.
know that it sounds like, and that sucks. Like, it's like I said in the heat check, I wanted to put this, I wanted it, I want to believe it's better than it is. I wanted it to be in my mid section, but it's just not very good. And I don't think it's, I don't think it's Maya World's fault. I don't know. I'm laying a lot of the blame on Shida because I expect better from her. I don't know, man. Sometimes you put two people in the ring, you think it's going to be good, and it just isn't. I don't know. It happens.
And again, people have off nights, and maybe this wasn't. Maybe this was an off night for Shida.
Yeah.
Again, we're not trying to disrespect her abilities in the ring. I think for me, the biggest flaw she has coming back is an undefined character.
Yep.
But yeah.
And I'm with you of I don't know where we go from here with Maya World because I think they'll probably have her defend it and win once, maybe twice, but it's not going to be against big names. And the first time she gets in the ring with a big name, probably at All In, I got to believe she's going to drop it.
I do too.
I may be wrong, but we'll see. What sucks the most to me about this is the person that Maya World needs to be in the ring with to really slingshot her forward, really slingshot her to the moon with the TBS Championship is Toni Storm. Because Toni Storm would make her look like $1 million. But Tony's not there right now.
Mercedes Moné is what I thought.
Mercedes is the other one.
She's
so
the only one.
I have three people in mind that she needs to be in the ring with. Toni Storm's number one, but Tony's not available right now because Tony would make her look like $1 million, right? Mercedes Moné is number two, but you can't put her in the ring with Mercedes right now. The third one is one who might be on her way, but it's going to be a while, and it's Bayley. Bayley would pull a really good match out of her. I really believe that. Bayley is, I think, wildly underrated. When think she's on her way.
When one of the three women aren't even in the company yet. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Bayley is on her way, but the problem is if you debut Bayley in a match against Maya World for the title, you have to switch that belt, I think.
It makes all the sense in the world to do that if that happens.
Yeah. So I don't know. But those are the three that are in my mind that if you put Maya World in the ring with one of them, they're going to help her. They're going to make her better. They're going to help her. I'm not saying there aren't other people on the roster that can do that. There probably are.
Right.
But it goes to the bigger issue that we've been talking about for a while of the women's division is still a little bit of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
You're relying on a lot of people who aren't quite ready yet.
Yeah. The other person I would put into that mix would be Athena. I think.
Oh, good call.
Because they have had they've had really good match. Like when Maya beat her the first time.
Yep.
They had a really good match. And so it's tough to compare that match to this match tonight.
Yeah.
And know what Maya can look like and what that championship reign should look like.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to sound weird. It might have made more sense to shift Maya World and become the ROH Women's Champion over Athena because there's more built-in storyline there just because they used to train and run together, and B, you have Athena calling herself the Forever World Champion, and she's held that title for a long time.
Yeah.
So it may have made more sense from a longevity process with the story for Maya World, because now you've elevated Maya World. You have her with a world title. Sure, it's the ROH title, but that gives her some credibility. She can be on ROH. She can continue to get her chops, and then you can bring her in, and then she can challenge for the TNT or the TBS title and look really great. And it's no longer just a feel-good story, which we all like them, but unfortunately, I have this sinking suspicion that that's all this is built on, is that feel-good moment from coming out of a tragedy.
Yeah, and on her birthday too. I don't know if you might have fast-forwarded past that, but
I did get that one detail, and I was like, "That's great!"
Yeah,
and again,
it is. It's awesome.
Perfect.
I agree with you. I agree. Athena makes a lot of sense. They need to put her in the ring again with Athena to make her. I forgot about Athena because unfortunately, being on ROH, I forget that she's in the company. But yeah, you're right. That's a good call right there. I mean, big pop for the win, which is good, but it went too long, and the crowd is really quiet through a lot of the match, which kind of tells you everything. So
Yeah.
now I'm
That
sad.
match went too long, just like our analysis of it.
Yeah, that is all accurate. Yeah. This will speed us up. The Demand cut a fairly short promo, basically calling their shot for the Trios Championship. I thought that was going to be the match on the pay-per-view. I don't know why it wasn't, but all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
But
glad
hey,
they're doing something with the Trios titles.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. This was worth being on the pay-per-view in order to get the Trios titles onto Dynamite. So thank you, man, for making that happen.
Yep. Then our next, this could have been an email. Cage and Cope versus Claudio and Pac.
I didn't think I would agree with you on this match, but I do. With it could have been an email.
Yep. This could have been, again, you put this on Dynamite, banger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put it on Dynamite, I'm completely fine with it, because again, what this felt like to me, and I think I mentioned this on Wednesday, this felt to me like, hey, we got to get Cage and Cope on the pay-per-view. We don't want to put them against the Bucks yet because we're saving that for All In. FTR is taking time off. Claudio and Pac, here you go. Logically, this should have been a spot for Ospreay and Moxley.
Yes.
Because you've been building them as a team. They had wins. That would have made more sense here. But no, we throw Claudio and Pac in. And not only do we throw Claudio and Pac in, we have the champions call them out, which it's another one of those things that I don't like. Unless you're telling a story of, I'm going to antagonize the hell out of you until you give me what I want, it makes no sense for the champion to call them out.
Because their excuse was, look, we know you're going to try anyway, so we're just going to get it over with, and we're going to be the ones calling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But.
So you've got virtually no story here. What story you do have isn't good. At no point, again, this comes into play, with the shadow of All In covering this whole show. At no point did I think Pac and Claudio were going to win.
No.
No point did I think that.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I just wrote down solid match, and I have story beat, ? They're a great team, ?
We knew that.
And so the only other story beat is the Bucks are going to take them on at All In, which I think you and I have said was going to happen for the last 2.5, 3 weeks now. So,
we've been saying that for months. We've been, once they took it off of FTR, we've been saying they're building to them in the Bucks.
So no real storyline going in, same storyline coming out. I didn't think I was going to agree that this match could have been an email, but it definitely could have.
I mean, you put it on a Dynamite, and I'm like, all right, cool. Because I don't have any problem with you slapping random matches together on Dynamite. I don't. I'm fine with that. But the pay-per-view, in my mind, is pay-per-views function for one of two things. They're either going to further a story, one of three. They're either going to further a storyline, end a storyline, or start a storyline.
Yes.
This does none of those.
No, this pay-per-view was, hey, we can get a pay-per-view in Canada and up our buy rates and make our Canadian wrestlers look good.
Well, and I mean, I'll give the pay-per-view as a whole this. It did further some story, but this match in particular does not check any of those boxes because they're not running this back, nor should they.
Nope, they should not.
Like I said, this would have been great on a Dynamite. I would have preferred the Young Bucks and Claudio and Pac and winner's the number one contender.
Yeah. Okay. See, now that makes sense. That makes way more sense than what we got.
Yeah. I probably would still say that should have been on Dynamite, but at least then, it makes some sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Edge and Christian versus the Bucks at All In is now official. Thank you for finally making that official. I'm calling it now. If the Bucks win, and I think they might, the New Day comes out. The New Day is going to debut in London.
Interesting. Oh, I didn't even think of that. And now that you've said it, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be disappointed.
I am too. And I don't know that the timing works on that, but I think it does with the non-competes and stuff. I think it works.
What? Yeah.
So I'm calling it now.
I love it. Love it. You know what I'm not calling? This next match, great.
And
I'm not doing that. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Painmaker versus Psycho Killer, Jericho versus Ciampa.
Yeah.
This match, on the whole, was probably their best one so far in this poorly thought out feud.
Yes.
This storyline was a pamphlet, maybe a post-it, and it turned into a novella, and it shouldn't have. That being said, even though this was their best match, it A, way too long. B,
God.
Why are we doing so many comedy bits when then you take sandpaper to his skull? The way you win is by almost drilling a hole in his skull with a drill?
Yeah,
What?
going for a lobotomy. Yeah.
What? No.
I mean, I agree with all of that. For me, it lost a lot of its mojo right out of the gate because I'll give Ciampa a lot of credit. His entrance, I was like, okay, he's selling it. This is serious. You know, he's coming for a fight. I'm like, okay, you have my attention. And then Jericho comes out in the Painmaker thing, which is always goofy, but I knew it was going to be goofy. It's not nearly as badass as I think he thinks it is, but whatever. But then he couldn't get in the ring without losing his hat. Did you catch that?
I missed that part. No.
He had to catch the hat and try and put it back on. He's trying to put it back on. I'm like, hey, man, if you're going to wear a hat to the ring, maybe take I don't know, a minute or two and go watch just one old Undertaker entrance and see how he did it. Just a thought. Just a thought.
You hold it on your head and then you duck under the. Yeah,
that's all it is. Yeah. But he knocks his hat off his head. So that kind of took me out of it. And then you get into it. It's exactly what you said. This is supposed to be, oh, we're both crazy and we're going to inflict pain on each other. And this is supposed to be like two jokers going at it, right? And I don't mean jokers like haha. I mean like the Batman villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead, we're getting these weird ass comedy spots. Like, first of all, Tommaso Ciampa, who the hell puts the helmet on before the hockey sweater? That's just dumb. And the other thing, that whole sequence was when I went, I'm done with this match because he goes from that. And look, I'm a hockey fan. I know the rivalry. I get what he was doing. But he goes from that to then you hit your finisher on a stuffed animal or, stuffed mascot, a toy. And then you go for the cover on the toy and you're the psycho killer. Yeah. You're the guy who's like, I hate Jericho so much that I have to end him. And you take time out to fight a toy?
That's what I mean. I mean, that makes sense in a Orange Cassidy match.
Sure.
In this one? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Once that happened, I went, done. And I mean, like, I would glance up, but I was on my phone for a lot of that match, just like zombie scrolling. I saw, the attempted lobotomy and all that and whatever.
And again, so I don't understand the internal logic of this match because I don't think it had much. I think I know a little bit about having watched wrestling for a long time.
Yeah.
You can't go from Ciampa pinning a stuffed animal to Jericho attempting to drill a new hole in his skull. And I guess Ciampa tapped because they just rang the bell.
That's what I said too. I wrote down, what the hell was that finish? Did he tap? And I went and looked it up online, and the way that they listed it is that he yelled, I quit. That he basically said, I quit to the ref.
All right.
I didn't hear it, but I don't know.
Watching in the replay, at one point, he's like flapping his arm and maybe hitting Jericho, but I'm sorry, if you're coming at me with a drill, I'm probably going to flap more than my arm. I'm probably going to flap anything that will.
Yeah, probably. So I don't know. It was bad. Like, I can't even say that this match should have been an email. This match probably just shouldn't have happened.
We talked about that. The blow up should have been 2 matches ago.
Yeah, it should have been a beach break. Yeah, that should have been it.
The first indication that this match was going to be off, Jericho brings sand to the ring so that he can have a beach break throwback. Yeah. No thanks. No, man. You didn't.
I would have been better with him doing that and them saying like, it's a callback to Mr. Fuji.
But yeah, he would have needed salt then. But
I know, but
it's just, and then having him come over at the end of the match and just be weird with the green dye in his mouth. I'm like, okay. So are you
well,
gonna
yeah, that was the thing too.
Leo Rush now? Is that
Well,
what
that
you're
was
gonna
the thing
do?
too. Like he does the Great Muta Mist, and Ciampa like barely sells it. What the hell were we doing here?
I mean, look, he already took sand to the face. You think Mist is gonna bother him at this
That's
point?
a good point. That's a good
Come on.
point. Look, he had hit his finisher on a toy. Like,
Yeah. He thought he had won.
it's bad. All right.
Speaking of bad, let's move on to the Mick Foley Divine Dominion bit, which
I fully understand why you thought this was bad. The promo is like whatever, I guess. Like, I agree with you that it really serves no purpose, and Mick barking was extremely weird. The reason that I didn't put it on the bad is because when Mick at the end says, "This is going nowhere," I laughed. And I went, all right, okay.
that's fair.
I was like, at least he's self-aware enough to go, this is terrible. And what bothered me about it, and I think this is what you were getting at, is the reason it's so long is they're covering for them to clean up the ring after the debacle that we had just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, but I don't know, maybe like have a video package for All In, and maybe have like the video package for Andrade and Mark Davis be just a touch longer, and you know, maybe have it be a pre-recorded video of Divine Dominion going, "Oh, Brawling Birds, you've been running your mouths, but you haven't actually done anything yet." You know what I mean? Like, there was a better way to attack that than whatever the hell that was.
It's okay to show them cleaning the ring for a little bit.
It is. Yeah.
Because then we know what's going, that's fine. And you're right. The Divine Dominion thing should have been pre-recorded. And they should have been saying, "Are you sure you're going to be a team long enough to challenge us? Because seems like every time you get running, you break up." So there's so many ways you could have done this better. And for just to introduce the fact that they're probably going to take on the Birds at All In, and did they make that official?
I don't think they made it official, but they're gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately for Divine Dominion, they'll probably be on the buy-in, which is a shame, but whatever.
They might put them on the actual card just because they're two Brits. Right. Yeah. Which, by the way, means Divine Dominion probably going to lose.
I can't even talk to you about this right now.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, this was rough, and I would have preferred them just putting a camera in commentary's face and them talking about, hey, tickets are on sale for the next, 10 Dynamites and Collisions. Here's where we're going to be. Yeah. Hey, go to shopaew.com. They haven't done one of those promos in forever.
No.
Any of that would have been better.
Yeah, you've got plenty of matches that you could still run down that we could look forward to. There's plenty of that to go around, but instead we get Divine Dominion. Okay. Andrade and Mark Davis.
Yep. Let's move on to that, because this was really good. I really enjoyed this. Andrade just continues to be so good since he came back to AEW.
Yeah. I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. This is my favorite version of Andrade.
Yeah.
I think he's looked better in this run in AEW than he has. And again, this is with a mild caveat. I did not get a lot of his NXT work. But
you know what?
This is my favorite version of him, period.
I did watch a decent amount of his NXT stuff, and it was good. It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't this good. Like, I think he has just found something. I don't know what it is, but I think he's just found something where it's really firing on all cylinders for him right now.
This latest run is the first time I felt like he's lived up to all the hype that I've heard about Andrade. And now he is on fire right now, and I'm super happy for him. And I was so glad he was going to win. And it's like, at one point, I didn't make the note, but I was like, oh, okay. Because commentary said Andrade has yet to win a title, a singles title in AEW. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's winning tonight.
Yeah. And I going in, I thought he was going to win.
Same.
I think the best, I think the best thing they can do, leave that belt on him for like minimum 3 months. Minimum.
At least.
To make it matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about this? How he can be the guy to take that belt.
He can make it matter.
Keep it and make it matter and hold it. But he's got to hold it long. He's got to hold that bitch for like a year. And defend it a lot and win all the time.
I think they got to throw the whole Don Callis family at him, like one by one. They got to keep coming, and he's got to keep beating them for that belt.
I mean, my God, if
And
they do that, they could take that for 8 months almost.
they could.
Oh my God.
They could. So I think he needs to hold it for a while. I also agree with Taz. Velcro pants, my guy. Velcro pants.
What was the hold? There was
The line where he said he's having a match between his boots and his pants right now was really funny. It was really, really funny.
and then Excalibur going, "That's why you're the best color guy in the biz."
Yeah.
That was great. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Really, really good match, though. Really good match. Then Speedball did a fairly quick promo. I find it interesting that he called his shot for the international title in Mexico, that we're not doing it at Wembley. That's interesting to me.
I agree, and I liked his take on it because it's international. I thought, well, clearly you're going to say Wembley, but it's like, well, okay, and whatever.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really good promo, possibly his best promo he's done in AEW. They kept it short. He made way more sense than he's had in a long time. I'm super glad he's going to get a shot at the title, and I think he should win it.
I do too. I think they should switch it. I don't know if they will, but I think they should.
I 100% think they should.
Yep. We'll see what happens. But I think the other part of it too is you do need to put something semi-marquee on Grand Slam Mexico. So I get that that's part of it, but
weird that it's Speedball and not, I don't know, a plethora of the Mexican wrestlers that they currently have. But we'll hear about that in a little bit.
Then it was Thekla and Willow for the women's title. And I thought the match was pretty good. I'm not going to tell you it's the best one on the card, but it was pretty good.
It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I had a suspicion they were going to switch the belt because I think Willow and Mercedes makes more sense than Thekla and Mercedes.
Yes, it does.
I'm just and I don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled that they put it on Willow. I think it's the right move. Making her the first Grand Slam champion for the women is very smart. Triple Crown, whatever. I was just a little bit bummed because I felt like we finally hit our stride with Thekla, and now I don't know what you're going to do with her.
Yeah, that's that bittersweet moment for me in this match too, because I'm super happy that it's Willow who is, like you said, she is the first Grand Slam winner in AEW's women's division, and absolutely deserved. And I think she's the person to carry that flag for the time being. But man, I'm gonna miss Thekla being the champ because she was, like you said, finally, I think we've gotten her into her stride. She's looking the way she should look. She's sounding the way she should sound. She's performing extremely well in the ring. She's just off kilter on the mic, which I love. And now she's part of the Stardom Trios champions, I guess. So
I guess like I said, I don't know what they're going to do with her now.
No, I don't either.
And that bums me out. The other thing that bums me a little bit is they're not going to make Willow just a transitional champion, are they? I mean, Mercedes is looming.
Yeah, 100%. It is really hard to look at that and go, you got Mercedes Moné, not the world champion, taking on Willow Nightingale in London at one of the biggest pay-per-views they're going to do and not have Mercedes win.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, winning the Owen was really good. The only two-time person to win it back-to-back. That's not the world title.
Nope.
And this is Mercedes Moné. So,
yep. And they made a point tonight to say she's never held it, and she hasn't. It's like the one belt she's never held.
Yeah. So
I don't know. We'll
unfortunately, I think we are going to see Willow be a transitional champion.
Yeah. That sucks.
It does suck.
At that point, if that's how it's going to go, if she's only going to hold it for a month, I would have preferred they just keep it on Thekla. But we'll see.
And then have her hit the Grand Slam moment by beating Mercedes again. But let that build for a while.
Yep. I'll tie this all back when we wrap up here in just a minute, because then it was Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight for the world title, and this is part of where I'm going with it. But look, this is probably the match of the night. They were, wow, they were good. This is match of the night.
I 100% believe that because, like I said, Kevin Knight looks so good in this match, and you talk about people that take that next step in momentum and performance or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I honestly feel like that tonight was Kevin Knight's night to make that next step and really kind of grab that brass ring and go, look, I can be a world champion. And was he going to beat Kenny Omega tonight? No. Would I have been completely disappointed if he did win and he was going to be the champ for a while? No. I mean, it messes up plans for All In and all that, but in any other given moment, I'd be like, "Okay, I I can now believe you, Kevin Knight." So like I said, in a year or two, like we were talking about when
with Maya World
Maya
and
World and Kyle Fletcher, back when
Yep.
Kyle was really on a tear, and we're like, "That
Yep.
guy's gonna have the world title around his waist in a couple of years." That's how I feel about Kevin Knight tonight because of this match, and his performance I thought was through the roof tonight, and
Mhm.
he looked so good. I don't know if he's ever fired on all cylinders like this before, but he was amazing in this match.
And he really, I felt like this was the first time he really wrestled like a heel.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because the heel turn has fallen a little bit flat for me, not a lot, just a little bit flat for me,
Mhm.
and tonight really helped it. So if they keep him heel, and I think they should,
Yes, they should.
this helped it a lot. He was great. He was absolutely great. He's gonna be world champion someday. He's not there yet, but he will be, and he will be soon, I think.
Okay.
When I say soon, I mean year and a half, you
Yeah,
know?
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you 2 at the most, but yeah, I think he should
Yeah.
be world champ.
If the idea was to put him in this match to help show, hey, this guy is gonna be a main eventer, then mission accomplished. And I do think that
Absolutely.
that was the point. I genuinely do.
I
Because
do
I don't
too.
think any of us went into it thinking he was gonna win,
Mm-mm.
which is
Nope.
again the bigger issue with Redemption as a whole. I've been thinking about this a lot all week. Do you remember when WWE had put like Fastlane in between the
Mm.
Rumble and Mania, and they
Yeah.
had to figure out a reason to get you to buy it? And so they were like, oh, the number one contendership is on the line. No, it's not. You're not going to have the person that won the Royal Rumble then turn around and lose.
Right, yeah.
But it was like the best they could come up with, until they figured out, oh, here's what we'll do. The Rumble winner challenges one champion. And now that we have two world champions, and we'll put Elimination Chamber in between them, and the winner of that gets the other champion. And now it matters. Now I got a reason to watch it, right?
Right. Mhm.
When you smack Redemption in between, again, I think you have to throw Forbidden Door out because Forbidden Door is its own thing, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
When you put Redemption in between Double or Nothing and All In, those major stories, the world championship, the tag team championship, I didn't think that they were in danger for even a second.
No.
And that's the problem with it is All In looms so large over this show. And because you're doing some long-term storytelling, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, we know Ospreay's the number one contender, and it's pretty obvious that the story is him and Omega, not him and Kevin Knight. So like either they need to just not do it, just not put a pay-per-view the month before All In, or they've
Mhm.
got to figure out a different way. They've got to figure out a different hook to it. Because putting the world title on the line that close to your biggest show, and the champion is not defending against the actual number one contender. I don't like, there's not a lot like great. I look, it was a great match. It was a great match, but at no point did I think Kevin Knight was going to win.
No.
Now you
This
do
is
this match, September, whatever the first Wednesday is in September, coming off of All In,
Mhm.
you would have had me.
Yeah.
You would have had me going, holy shit, he might win.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
but
This
tonight,
is
no.
thi if you're gonna do a pay-per-view like this, and you're gonna continue to do it, this is why I think what's so important is having those B storylines be
Mhm.
interesting
Yep.
so that you can have those kind of kind of lead the way on this pay-per-view so that okay, we're not gonna see the world title, but the women's world title changed hands tonight. So build that story going into it and make sure those B-line storylines are effective so that we have that reason to watch this pay-per-view. Are we going to get the biggest titles out there? Maybe one, not all of them, because we have All In coming in 30 days. So make those, like I said, layer those stories, make sure we have some solid beeline stories going on. That's why those other storylines are so important. So you can do a pay-per-view like this and we aren't going to feel like, well, we kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's where I was kind of going with the women if you had made that a bigger deal, right?
Yeah.
If that had been a better story, that could have been your main event tonight. And imagine that. Imagine if that had some real heat on it, and Willow wins that. Dude, the roof would have come off the place, you know.
Absolutely. You put
And
some
as it was, it almost did, you know.
You put heat on that. You put heat on the Shida Maya World match. Now you could have 2 back-to-back, basically co-headlining matches with the women because now you've succeeded on multiple levels. You've given us stories that are worth watching and we're invested in, and you put time and effort into it. And you are elevating the women's division by giving us 2 solid women's title matches. And here's a bonkersville idea. I don't know. Build a women's tag team title story and pay it off here. Or wait, have them make Mick Foley bark like a dog.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you on all that. And the other thing you could have done here as well is if you get some more heat on the tag titles, right? Now that match matters more. And I'm not saying you switch it, but if you have heat on it, you have a real story going into it, that match matters. If you had a skosh more heat, like a little bit more story going into the international championship story, or that match, I should say, that could have been your main event tonight.
Absolutely.
Andrade and Mark Davis could have been your main event tonight, even as it was.
Yeah.
Because the story was never Andrade and Mark Davis, it's Andrade and the Don Callis family. That could have been your main event tonight, as it was, right?
Yep.
And I think that would have made some sense. And I'm not saying you don't put the world champion on the show, but I am saying maybe he just cuts a promo. I'm saying maybe there's a backstage something between him and Ospreay, right? Because again, you could have told every bit of the story that you told tonight on a Wednesday. You could have done it.
Or better yet, you could have taken every story beat tonight and played it out over the weeks between now and All In. And you didn't cram a bunch at us all at once. You continue that slow burn. You continue to show us layer after layer, and you continue to keep us guessing, because now the one match we haven't talked about kind of really draws the line in the sand of where we stand, and there's still 4 weeks, 5 weeks to All In.
Exactly. Because now everything that happens after Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight, right? Where, again, there's attempted murder and Ospreay stops it and everybody's getting beat down, and Kenny maybe with the soft heel turn there.
Here's what I found interesting was early on, I put, it was shortly after the Snapdragon on the announce desk, which, by the way, so good.
Oh my God, yes.
Kenny is looking a bit crazed with saying he wants more. Like, he was starting to, he was a different Kenny Omega in that ring tonight.
He started about halfway through that match when he starts doing the, come on, give me more, give me more.
That's what I'm talking about, exactly.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, that's when I started going, shit, I think he might be the cleaner.
Yes, that's what I was
started
thinking.
going.
Yep.
I started going, I'm like kind of looking around going, Bullet Club is alive, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome. But like, and let me put it this way. I think it makes a lot more sense to make Omega the heel, because Will Ospreay is not going to be a heel in London, period.
Nope.
You could have him killing puppies on live TV between now and All In, and I still don't think he'd be the heel in London, you know?
No, he wouldn't.
So it makes sense to have Kenny kind of morph back into the cleaner. I get it, and I'm here for it. But my question is, and I think this is kind of what you were alluding to, but please correct me if I'm wrong. My question is, okay, so now we've drawn a line in the sand. Will Ospreay is the face, and he is on his own. He is out of the Death Riders.
Yep.
Omega doesn't have his back anymore, and the Bucks are going with Omega. So right now, Ospreay has no one.
Exactly.
What are we going to do over these next couple weeks? Because now my only concern, and it's not a big concern, but my only concern with the story is the Death Rider aspect of it muddies the waters some, right? Because to me, I thought from here to All In, the story is Omega and Ospreay. And now I'm not sure it is. Now I
No.
think the story is Omega, Ospreay, and Moxley.
Right.
And
I
I'm
mean,
not entirely convinced we aren't going to end up in a triple threat match here.
I think it's a mistake to do it at All In if we do the triple
I
threat
agree.
match. I
I
don't
agree.
think you're wrong. It's entirely possible. But the story has always been about the thruple between the three of them. So I'm not mad that it is still that. But what does make me, and again, I agree with you. I'm here for the cleaner if Kenny Omega is coming back to that. I'm here for it. What I find interesting is the Bucks don't seem to be as here for it because they came out and was like, what's up? He's like, look,
Yeah.
he thought about putting a bag over my head.
So
Screw him.
yeah, and I get that. And I get that there's distrust that they started sowing that seed on Wednesday. I mean, they'd been sowing it anyway, but when they really they physically got into it on Wednesday. Like, I get it. I get it. Let me be clear.
Mhm.
I just think the way you could have played this out is you could have had it go for the next 5 weeks or whatever it is between now and All In. Mox continues being in Ospreay's ear of, you have to pull the trigger. It doesn't matter who's across from you. Because one of the things that I think they got across, but maybe not as explicitly as they might have liked, is Mox is trying to teach Ospreay, you don't understand what it takes to be the AEW World Champion. And I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't matter who it is.
Mhm.
You got to be willing to do whatever it takes. Why they didn't reference the multiple attempted murders of Bryan Danielson is beyond me. They needed to point that out. They needed to say, look at what I had to do to get it back. That guy was like my brother, and I tried to kill him, literally.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you could have had multiple weeks of him doing that and multiple weeks of Ospreay escalating the violence little by little by little by little, right? Like doing things he doesn't usually do. You could have been doing that all the way across, and you could have had Omega going, I don't know what you're doing, man. This isn't you. And it's the battle for Ospreay's soul along with the title, right? And you could have been doing all that. And then you get them in the ring at All In, and they are going to have, they are going to have the fucking match of the year. I'll be shocked if they don't, right? They're going to tear it down. They're going to go an hour and it's going to be orgasmic when it's over. But you could have been doing that. And now we're at the crescendo of the match. And it's exactly like what we saw tonight of Ospreay's got to make a choice and he can't do it. And now, and maybe it costs him the title, or maybe he ultimately wins it. But then now Mox turns on him. This is what you said. Mox is mad at him because you didn't do what I told you to do. So now I got to do it, or what, and I kept telling you, you pull the trigger no matter who's across from you. And I want that belt back. Like you see this path, right?
Absolutely.
You see this is 10, 12 weeks start to finish of TV. And I feel like we took 10, 12 weeks of TV and went and smushed it down into tonight.
Yeah. Again, there were so many story beats and so many story seeds throughout the Elite and the Death Riders matches that we could have not crammed all those into tonight. We could have parsed those out over the next several weeks, and we would have still have been just as satisfied with this pay-per-view and All In. Now we have to go, man, what's happening Wednesday? Yeah.
And look, let me put it to you this way. I'm sitting here going, wow, what is happening Wednesday? But I mean it in a good way. I mean it in a, like, I am really curious to see what we're going to do on Wednesday. Really curious. But with that said, think of it this way. If they had put Moxley and Ospreay in that tag title match, which would have made more sense against Cope and Cage, right?
That would. Mm-hmm.
And Cope and Cage ultimately win, but like they hurt them. Like you took these two legends, and Will Ospreay, who's the good guy, right? He's always been the goofy, fun, good guy who can go, hurts them. Hurts these legends in their home country. Dude, like if that's part of the building block of we don't know who Will Ospreay is anymore. He didn't know who he is anymore, which is kind of what they were doing with him staring in the mirror and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You had multiple weeks of TV there, and I really feel like you smushed it into tonight. And if you remove that element from Redemption, like you said, this is still a good show, and now you can space it out. Really curious to see where we go. Really curious about, I still think Hangman's an X factor here because he's got history with everybody involved. I actually thought he was going to come out at some point tonight. I was fairly surprised he didn't, like in that post-match stuff. Maybe he shows up on Wednesday to try and talk sense into Kenny. I don't know. I think he's an interesting X factor in it. I think Swerve is an interesting X factor in this because we don't know where he's going to be. I think MJF is an X factor in all this. And the reason I bring those three guys up, other than I seem to do it every week, is All In is the biggest show, and those are the three biggest guys.
Yep. I am going to say something that you may not like.
Ooh.
I don't want to see Hangman get involved with this angle.
I don't either, believe it or not.
I don't want to see Swerve get involved with this angle.
I don't either.
The only name that you mentioned, MJF, is the only one that makes sense. And while I'm intrigued by Hangman's tertiary involvement, I would rather not see him show up than muddy the waters even more, because while this is their best storyline, and don't get me wrong, I'm in on it. I think it's the most thought they've put into any of the storylines going forward at this point, and I'm happy on the whole with it. But they've done enough to be like, one more element could break this and make it not good. And even if that element is someone like Swerve or Hangman, you really risk ruining this really compelling storyline. Have you taken enough time with it for you and me? No, they could have stretched this out, but I'm still intrigued by it. There is still room to move this story forward. So I'd much rather just have Hangman do something else. I'm surprised they haven't bothered to bring Hangman back to challenge for any of the titles after he made the semi-surprise return at Collision.
Mm-hmm.
And then we haven't seen him since. So that seems to be a habit that we like to do in AEW.
Yep.
If you're going to have him at All In, I better see him Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, and I don't want those guys to get directly involved in the storyline. I think that they can show up in a way of, because they're connected to everybody involved, they can show up again in sort of just a ancillary sort of almost NPC, right?
Yeah.
Type of character where I'm going to give you just a little bit of advice if it's Will Ospreay, or I'm going to try and talk some sense into Kenny Omega, or I'm going to stare down Jon Moxley because fuck that guy, like whatever it is, and the reason that I specifically go to Hangman as an X factor in it is the Elite are still outnumbered by the Death Riders, right? So he could get involved in the Elite side, but you've also got Ospreay, who, as we talked about, is out on an island by himself. That guy at some point is going to need somebody to get his back. I could see that. I don't love it being a major part of the storyline, but if he helps clear the ring, I don't hate it.
Yes. If that's where it comes, I'm okay with it. And if Swerve gets involved and just looks at Ospreay and is like, Mox is trying to tell you something and he's trying to teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're smart enough to learn it or whatever, because Swerve gets that idea. He understands that aspect. I don't want him to see him be a Death Rider, but if he's going to be involved, I can see him do that, because I can't see him really having Ospreay's back. I can't see him having anyone's back in regard to this storyline. So he makes less sense for me. Hangman does make sense if it's like, look, you want to take out Claudio? Great. You want to back up Kenny and stare down Marina or not? Great.
Yeah.
Do that. Don't insert yourself too much farther than that.
Yeah, and here's the other area where I think potentially he gets involved. It goes back to something you said of, he listed every title, but he hasn't gone for any of them. It's easy to forget, but Jon Moxley has one of those titles. And Jon Moxley right now does not have a date for All In.
No.
And because I think the worst thing in the world would be to insert him in the championship match, so please don't do that. I think maybe Hanger and Mox for the Continental title, I'd be okay with that.
If you have Hangman come at Mox on Wednesday and be like, hey, bud, I want a title. I can't have the world title. What do you say me and you dance? Perfect. I'm in.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, a lot on this show, and yet also not a lot on this show. Like we said at the beginning.
You can tell because we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes about it.
Yeah. It's a weird show. I would say it's a good show, but it was a weird show.
Yeah. It's
AEW.
Like you said, it's not their best. It was good.
Yeah.
But there was and I didn't think I would be so on board with your call of so many of these matches should have been an email, but you're not wrong. We take three of those matches out. We reduce the show by give us at least an hour. We didn't need to go 5, dude. We did not need to go 5.
I think if you took everything that I thought could have been on a Wednesday out, we cut an hour and a half off that show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not kidding. I think we cut an hour and a half off it.
I agree. And I thought, here's what is so weird to me, which again, good but weird with the buy-in. I thought, ooh, only one match. And then everyone gets introduced on the buy-in for the ladder match. I thought, oh, okay, they figured out they don't need to cram so many matches into a pay-per-view, and we're going to get a 3-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No, they don't need to be 5 hours. They don't need to be 4 hours all the time. But I mean, yeah. I get it. On one hand, I get it. We're getting our money's worth and then some. I get
we
that.
are.
But
yeah, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah, you can cut 3 matches off the show, put them on Dynamite, and it makes Dynamite better, and it makes this show better.
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely.
Anyway. All right. So with that, it will be, speaking of Dynamite, it will be a very interesting one because we're going to see, hopefully, we'll see the beginning of this next chapter of the world title story.
Mm-hmm.
Willow and Mercedes is going to be interesting to me.
Yep.
What, if anything, are they going to do with Thekla will be interesting to me. Who do they line up for Maya World will be interesting to me.
Yes, absolutely.
So a lot of things here to watch for on Wednesday. It should be a very interesting one, which means you, if you have not, should subscribe so that you don't miss us breaking it down and talking about cookie dough.
Subscribe, follow everywhere you can. Tell a friend.
Yep.
Leave a 5-star review.
Yep. DoichFoods.com. That's DOICH foods.com. Use code Elite Heat. Help us out. Get some good cookie dough.
It's a little bit of a slip, maybe.
Well, I think what that is I've been talking for an hour plus, and I don't know if you noticed, but I finished my water before we actually even started recording. So,
what do you say we wrap up here?
Yeah, gonna go ahead and hit stop now.